All right, guys, as a cycle instructor, there is so much that we have to do to cultivate a good experience. And one of the most important parts of the class, in my humble opinion, is the playlist. I feel like a killer playlist is the absolute key to keeping your riders engaged and getting them to keep coming back, and also cultivating a class experience. This isn't just a workout, cycle is just a full-on cult at this point. And playlisting is not just about playing like the most trendy EDM or pop music. So as a cycle instructor of a year, I've taught over 100 cycle classes in a year and made so many mistakes, but also found so many good tips and tricks. I'm going to take you through all of my tips on how to create a really good cycle playlist, keep your riders engaged, and keep them coming back. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jaycee. I am an ACE certified group fitness instructor. I'm a personal trainer and a college student. I teach all formats of fitness, but cycle is my first true love. I've taught the most cycle classes ever, and welcome back to the vlog. We're going to be sharing some fun cycle tips today, but before we get started, I have a goal this year of getting monetized on YouTube so that I can pour back into the YouTube community and create an accessible and free online fitness platform. I have a mission statement that safe and informed fitness is something that needs to be more accessible. The best way I can do that is by creating YouTube stuff for you guys. So I do have a workout program coming out in July, but getting monetized will really help create more effective tools for everyone. So the best and most free way to support me is by watching this video and subscribing. So consider doing that and check out my program that gets released this July. All right, so tip number 1 is we need to understand BPMs and RPMs. Now, this is a word that gets thrown around in spin and cycle classes a lot, and I'm not really sure most instructors know what it means first off, because I sure did not. So BPMs has to do with music. That is the beats per minute in a song. So a slower song is going to be a lower number of BPMs, like 60 or 80, and a faster song is going to be somewhere between like 120, 140, a higher number. Now, RPMs, and that's the word that we use a lot, is rotations per minute. That is how many times you are rotating every other foot. So every time like your right foot rotates on the pedal. So cycle RPMs in a class should be anywhere between 40 RPMs and 110 RPMs, kind of depending. Sometimes you might go a lot beyond 110 if you're sprinting. Now, our music BPMs should be anywhere between 80 BPMs and 220 BPMs, give or take, depending on the music that you're using. So the way that you calculate BPM or RPM is that an RPM is whatever the BPM of the music is divided by 2. That's if you're strictly going with that. I'm kind of someone who goes on and off of that. Some things I really use BPMs for and RPMs, and others I don't, but it's very important to know. So for just kind of some regular things like that we see in a cycle class, our regular pace, or some people call it your flat road, RPMs should be 80, which means the music should be around 160 BPMs. For our sprints, RPMs should be about 110, which means the music BPMs are going to be somewhere in the 220s. For hills, our RPM is going to be in the 40s area, so the BPM should be about 80. And then out of the saddle, RPMs should be consistently around 60, so BPMs should be 120. And out of the saddle choreography, that's the one that I follow the most because it's the most important for participants to get. On the other ones, I just kind of go with what I feel like, and I have them stick at a flat road about 80 unless we're sprinting or climbing. But out of the saddle is very important to follow those. And I'll have that all like in the description if you want the information. I like to choose my music off of BPMs. I will use a website, it's called like BPM Finder or something like that, and I'll plug in the song, I'll get the BPMs, and then that's how I categorize things. So let's talk about categorization. My second tip is to create a database. So I like to keep a database folder on my Spotify for all my music. I have like a hills playlist, sprints, runs, like all that stuff, and it saves me a lot of time on planning, and it keeps my classes from flopping because these are tried and true tested songs that I know are going to do really well in a cycle class, because the worst feeling is when you have a song that just is not a good cycle song, or it's not a good song to cue intervals to. So have a playlist of things that you know that work, and then try some other stuff along with it. I definitely don't recommend trying a full class of new music though. Tip number 3 is to consider doing a theme for your class. Now, I might be a little biased because I regularly teach theme classes, except for like this summer when I'm trying to take a break from it. And while not all classes need to be themed, it can still be fun. And themed classes really don't require as much work as we think. and I have some fun tips on how to get around it. So some examples of like easy themes to put together are like artist versus artist. You pick two artists and then you just plug all their music in together, and that's it. They don't even have to be artists that go together. I think I've like done like Ariana Grande versus Shawn Mendes before. That doesn't really go together. You can also do genre versus genre, like hip hop versus country, pop versus EDM, like stuff like that. It's always really fun. You can do artist and friends. That's a fun one. So if you have like, for example, I did like a Justin Bieber and Friends class, and I had like 5 Justin Bieber songs in and then 5 other just completely random songs. And it was still a really fun theme because there was enough Justin Bieber to make it feel like a theme. And then you can also do like a throwback. It can be like a particular decade or a particular year or just throwbacks. I like to do like nostalgia to early 2000s, 2010s pop. I might do like a recession era pop next semester. I feel like that would be really fun. You can also do like 1990s, 80s music, like stuff like that. You can make super, super fun. Other themes that I've seen done are like Battle of the Bands. I've seen a country theme. I like to do a country theme at least once a semester. I teach at a college. I feel like country music is long. Use it sparingly because everyone is very opinionated on country. Taylor Swift's the theme. Beyonce, everyone loves a good Beyonce class. Rihanna, yes. So themes, you can do so much with themes and people love it. Ooh, High School Musical, that's a good theme. Disney, anything Disney. Okay, tip number 4 is I want you to think about the full experience. When you're programming, you need to consider the full vibe of the class and what you're trying to cultivate. Are you trying to get them to leave your class feeling empowered, energized, exhausted? And exhausted's okay, I promise. Like, you need to understand what is your objective of the class and how can your music contribute to that. So I generally like to make my class in like a U in terms of the vibe. We're going to start out really high, and then as we get working, we're going to probably dip into our fields a little bit, get a little gritty, and that's okay. The energy does not need to constantly live up here for the whole class. Allow it to dip and flow. But we're going to end the class, we're going to keep climbing up to end on a super, super high note. So as an example, I do 3 sprint songs in every single class. 1 at the beginning, 1 at the middle, 1 at the end. For our beginning one, it's our first sprint. It's likely about the 3rd song in the playlist. And so I want some high energy stuff. I want them to get used to what a sprint feels like. So I will typically do like a classic high peppy song, such as like, trying to think of an example, Part of Me by Katy Perry. That's one I like to use a lot. It's peppy, it's high energy. People love it. They know it's a sprint. Like it really powers them through. And then for my second sprint, we're kind of at that dip. It's about the halfway point. That's when I give them, like after that song, I give them a break to do some weighted arms. And that's my motivation one. I'm like having to encourage them. I'm like, hey guys, like I know we're tired. We got this break. Let's get through this one last sprint. That's when I do a lot of that motivational cueing. I call out people that are doing super good, like all that stuff. And I will let them kind of have a more low-key song because I understand that not everyone is ready to put your full 100% into this sprint, especially when I have a whole second half of class to get through. So I will do a more chill sprint song, if that even exists. I like to do something like Dua Lipa. And then at the end, it's our last song. Everyone is super hype. I've been hyping them up for this the last 3 songs. I tell them we're going to do our fastest sprint that you've ever done in any class ever. And I like to do like something that's like super like ragey sing along, like Don't Stop Believing, Since You've Been Gone. America's Sweetheart is a really good one. That's one of my favorite. Sorry guys for the ASMR. That's one of my favorite ones to do at the end of class. Like think about the vibe. Think about what you want them to leave to take away. I like to end it off on a super feel good high note. And I want them to take away like, wow, that cured my instinct to call my ex-boyfriend. You know, I want them to walk out of there and not go text their ex-boyfriend. All right. And my final tip is play the unexpected. I like to play some weird songs that no one expects because it makes them walk away remembering my class. So, for example, the song Rasputin. I know it's a weird song. I like to do choreo to it though, and I find that it gets everyone like to loosen up and have a lot of fun. And so play the song that you don't normally hear in a spin class because it's going to make you memorable and your participants are going to walk away and like go tell their friends about it. They're going to be like, guys, my spin instructor played Rasputin in my class. And then their friends might be like, oh, I want to so come and see that in person. Like make yourself fun, make yourself memorable. And a really good way to do that is to play an unexpected song or to do the unexpected theme. Maybe you're the person that does the High School Musical theme. Maybe you do to the full Beyonce class. Like, find a way to make yourself memorable and play the unexpected, because everyone expects EDM music. And there's nothing wrong with EDM music. It's great. It's amazing. Keep playing it. But what makes you unique? Okay, guys, those are all the tips that I have for you today. Remember to like this video. I want you to comment down below what your favorite song to hear in a spin or cycling class is. And as always, please subscribe. Have an amazing day. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.